Welcome to episode 54 of Teach Me Tiger.
Scratch COVID-19.
Are we allowed to?
We're over it.
We're over it. Yeah, let's just scratch it. Let's have a big party right now together. Let's all hug each other and share a drink out of a single cup.
Teach me, tiger, how to kiss you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Help me, tiger, I don't know what to do. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Take my lips, they belong to you. But teach me first, teach me what to do. Welcome to Teach Me Tiger, the show where we bring in our experty friends, pals, people that we follow on the internet.
Stalk on the streets.
We welcome them into our virtual homes because it's COVID-19, and they teach us about stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm Melody, and then Sarah's the other voice.
Yeah, I'm Sarah.
This week, we're talking about social media for businesses.
Pew, pew, pew.
I think this episode is super, super helpful and super pertinent right now, given the pandemic and businesses have had to close for weeks and weeks. And I think a lot of people are scrambling to get their shit online and have a social media presence.
Absolutely. And how do you do it? Is today Monday? Is today Wednesday? Is it 4:00? Am I drunk?
The answer is to the last one is definitely yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's just tricky. It's a
But
tricky time.
But what day of the week it is, I couldn't tell you.
No one knows. I just found out. We're recording this on Tuesday what day is
Isn't
today?
it Wednesday? It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. See? We're recording this on Wednesday. And I just found out yesterday, which is Tuesday, that Monday was May 24.
Oh, I know. Hey, shout out Anna Barani.
Yeah.
Shout out Anna. Wished me a good long weekend. And I was like, oh, wait, what? It's a holiday? It's a long weekend? It's all a long weekend, Anna. You know that.
You know that. It's all a long weekend now. And now we know that the kids are not going back to school at all until September, maybe.
Yeah. We knew that, though, didn't we?
Knew that.
Yeah. We're in, we do have some American listeners. We are in Ontario in Canada.
Ontario, Canada, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, our kids aren't going back to school. So that's great. We'll see what happens in the fall.
Yeah, because they said that they think the second wave is going to start in September.
Boo. Hiss.
Boo, hiss, boo.
Okay. So back to this episode.
Back to track.
Yes, you're going to want to listen if you have a small business or do any sort of hustle. I think that this episode
For hustlers.
is for hustlers.
I'm a hustler,
And I think
baby.
there's a lot of hustlers out there. I think people are going to listen to this one.
I just want you
You're
to know.
listening right now, aren't you?
You hustling?
So before we get to our chat with Kat and Toby James from Kat's Cove Communications, I believe they call themselves a boutique marketing firm.
Yeah, they're amazing.
They're really great. They know so much shit. It's great.
It's really great.
Before we get to that, we're going to do two quick things. First of all,
We're going to have two quickies.
Two quickies.
In a row. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
There we go.
And we're done. No. Sarah.
Yeah.
Do you have any week, Pete?
Oh, yeah.
What is great that happened in your week?
Okay, COVID. Greg's at home. Greg's my husband. He's a big, burly, handsome, big, hot man. And my beautiful friend Tamar, who's also big and hot, she's very tall, is living at our house during COVID, as is her boyfriend, who's also a burly, hot man, and our friend Ryan, who's also a burly, hot man. So we have all these big, strong people. So I'm the brains. They're the brawn.
Yeah.
And we're getting shit done, Melody. I've got my chicken coop fenced in. I've got this epic fire pit. If you follow me on social media, you know about it. If you don't, you should start following me just to check out the fire pit. It sits 50 people.
May I interject for a moment?
Yeah.
Just to speak to the magnificence of the fire pit. These guys dug into a hill and exposed all these giant freaking boulders in the hill. So there's all this
Canadian shield.
beautiful exposed rock, and it's like sunk down into the lawn so it keeps the wind out, with seating built in.
And like we lined it with these huge chunks of... Greg like lifted all these rocks with his arms like a monster. And it's really hot watching all the men move all the rocks. And then we have a bonfire every single night.
It's amazing.
The best. Anyway, I'll post some more pictures of the men moving rocks for all your ladies out there and men. And I got a garden in. All kinds of shit. Just went out and bought some paint to paint the front of my fucking house. Do you guys know you can paint vinyl siding? Get on it. Is your house smoker's teeth yellow? Because mine is. And it's not gonna be.
Are you gonna paint it yourself?
Yeah.
Cool.
Today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Uh-huh. What's your week peaks?
Mine's basically the same, actually. I've been making time for gardening every day. And, you know, I know we're really young. We're like 22. We're super hot.
We're so
like, people
hot
don't
and young.
expect us to be into gardening and
I
these
know.
domestic sort of things.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've been edging my garden. We've been here like 6 years, and every year I put like perennials in the garden, and then the grass creeps in, and it's really like defeating every year. And finally, because I've been wanting to do this like fancy rock edge, but I'm like, the rocks are heavy. How do I transport them? I don't know what to do.
Right.
I'm edging my garden in fucking firewood, and like I'm going to fill in the gaps with gravel, and it'll last at least a few years.
Yeah. And you're digging like a nice trench.
I'm doing a trench.
I just want a quick shout out to anyone else out there who laughed a little bit when you said edging.
Oh.
If you don't know what it is, just Google it next time.
If you don't know what it is, listen to our episode with Miss Jones, and you'll learn all about it.
Edging. But I can't wait to go outside and look at your garden. Can I come over when no one's home and just like loiter outside your house?
You bet.
Cool.
Anytime.
Great.
Okay, so we have a segment we've been doing called Just the Tips. And we have Sarah Wright. Mr. Just the Tipstress?
Yeah, I love it. That's it. Sir Just the Tipstress.
We've got Sir Just the Tipstress here live today to answer an advice question. Here's the question. Sarah Wright. My mother-in-law aggressively follows me on social media, and I feel like I need to censor myself and my content. What do I do?
Well, my first impulse is to start posting like nudes, like sexual position preferences.
Right.
Just really shake her up. Like, turn it into a little game. I mean, she doesn't live with you. Just, it's her fault. She's like stalking you on social media. If you don't want to know that shit, stay off my social media.
Right.
I'm going to post a butt pic. Maybe I'll post a butt pic today, guys. Log in. But I mean, that's not a practical answer for everyone. To spook your mother-in-law out your life. But
for some, it might work.
Yeah, I actually think it's a great idea. Just keep posting shit that's going to piss her off. Maybe she's a little bit right-leaning. Start posting a lot of, like, liberal shit. But I think, like, the personal body stuff is what's really going to do it. Maybe, like, a period pic.
Right.
Maybe, like, pubes or armpit hair.
I mean, I would call this an education.
It's an education. Yeah. And if she keeps following you, then great.
That means she likes it.
She's grown.
Bring out your period album at the next family reunion.
Save all your tampons in a little book.
You could scrapbook them. You could do it with your mother-in-law.
Oh, I
together.
bet she loves scrapbooking. They love that kind of thing.
Okay, but what can you do if you don't want to do that?
But really, what you can do, I've done this. I post my more edgy stuff on Instagram, and I keep Facebook a little more family friendly because like my Nana's on there and stuff. So on Instagram, if I'm posting something and there's like a specific person or people that I don't really want to see that, but I don't want to like have them blocked so that they think I hate them. There is a thing that you can choose close friends. When you put your picture up, you're about to press like send to, and you share it to your story. I'm talking about your stories right now.
In Instagram.
You can pick close friends and you get to choose who those people are.
I'm going to guess that your mother-in-law is likely on Facebook rather than Instagram. So on Facebook, when you're creating your post, I'm on my phone, so this is the mobile app. Underneath your name, there's a little drop-down menu that on mine says friends.
Okay.
If you click on that drop-down menu, it'll give you options for public, friends, friends accept, and you can make a list.
Friends accept.
And so that's actually what I've done. I have basically like mother-in-law and my friend's parents and my husband's family who are particularly religious.
Yep.
So that if I'm putting something really blasphemous, I exclude those people from that.
Which you often are, because you're so blasphemous. It's your thing. Or you can ruin her life by posting pubic hair and periods.
Yes.
Whatever you want. Or enrich her life. Either way works.
Thanks, Sarah. Should we get to the podcast? Should we talk to Kat and Toby?
Let's dial them on the internets. Those were the days. You could go make a sandwich, and by the time you got back, maybe you'd be connected to your like MSN chat.
Okay, everyone, go make a sandwich. By the time you get back, we'll have Kat and Toby on the line.
Yeah.
Hey, Kat. Hey, Toby.
Hey, how are you?
How you doing?
We're great.
We're good.
We're doing okay. Oh, how are you guys?
Good. We are great. We are sitting down and we poured ourselves a cold one, and our kids are asleep, we think. So everything's good.
That's incredible. My kids won't be asleep until long after I get home.
Yeah,
I'm being hopeful.
Naive. She's being naive.
Yeah.
They're almost certainly sitting on the stairs listening to us right now.
Okay, so before we get to the serious, meaty center of the topic,
Sure.
we like to loosen up a bit. Have you guys listened to the podcast before?
Yeah, we have.
So we play a little game called Icebreakers.
Okay.
And since, unfortunately, neither of you is here with us physically to reach into my
Melody's box.
I'll just reach in there for you.
Are we going to play them the song?
Roll up your sleeves, pull up your socks, reach on into Melody's box. Icebreakers.
Say you're independently wealthy and don't have to work. What would you do with your time? It's a COVID question.
Right.
I suppose, yeah.
We're all independently wealthy on
I
that.
would say short of being
mad
independently
Serb cash.
wealthy, yeah. I'm not sure what the biography is that you've given about us at this point.
This is boring on my part, but I would write like whatever I wanted. So
Like what kind? Like a novel?
I don't know. Yeah, or like just writing online, like just for my own pleasure. I mean, I do that all the time for business anyway. So because I do so much of it for work, I don't do as much of it anymore for pleasure.
Oh,
So I think I would, and read like professionally.
I think Sarah would do that too. Read.
I would do those things.
Yeah. What about you, Toby?
Okay, you'll learn this about me. I never want to answer it straight. Can I be a loser and say, but I like work?
No, that's not losery. I love my job too.
Okay. I when you say I'm independent,
You would still
wealthy,
work.
and and I don't have to work. I'm like, but that actually makes me sadder. I like working.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and he would have to work because no one wins in our house when he's not doing something productive.
You give me a full weekend of downtime, and I'm a homicidal maniac by the end of that 48 hours. So,
Oh man, so COVID's been rough.
Yeah,
COVID is horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's been
Yeah.
Toby, I think that we're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, could be.
I really feel you.
Yeah, I am a severe extrovert. I am not okay during times like this. So
Yeah, it super blows. Got you.
Yeah.
What would you do, Sarah? You'd read?
I read all the time anyway, because I sneak it in. Every time I eat, I read. That's my thing. Yeah.
I've been meaning to ask you how you read so much with all those kids.
What the fuck would I do? I die early because I would do expensive drugs, designer drugs, and drink a lot of like just champagne and eat foie gras like all fucking day.
How would the expensive ones kill you quicker?
I don't know, right? Don't you think it should be the other? I think maybe it is the other way around.
It might be.
Although heroin's probably more expensive than like, I don't know.
You're not going to like
cocaine.
win the lottery and get into heroin, are you?
I don't know. Who can ever be sure?
Yes. That's the classic story. What are you going to do with your $1 million? I don't know. How much heroin do you have?
I don't know. I was thinking getting into heroin. Everyone needs a hobby. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
It would end early.
Yeah, I think I would just eat really expensive food and do drugs and drink and then die in an expensive car accident.
Would you travel?
Fuck no.
Really?
I don't think so. I'm afraid of planes.
Well, the car accident would be a car falling out of a plane. So.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I only take a plane if I'm in a car.
For my $1 million.
And put my heroin in the trunk. I'll be on.
In the glove box, damn it.
Right.
Melody, what would you do besides heroin with me in my car in a plane? It's like a turducken.
Don't get in the car, Melody.
Don't get in the car, Mel.
I mean, I would travel.
Yeah. Where'd you go? Where's the first place? Florida.
Honestly, I like
you'll
going
die
places
quick.
where I can. I don't know that I'd go to Florida, but I'd probably go to Seattle and see my sister and brother-in-law and niece pretty early on.
That'd be cool.
And I'd probably go to Germany because I speak German.
Yeah, she
Oh.
does.
Do you get to travel a lot now?
No.
Never.
Never.
Nope. I used to before kids, but
Sure.
I don't know. It's so expensive. You have to, they take like a full adult ticket.
It's also called running away now.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is what it's called. Kids are worse than COVID. I'm just putting that out there. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
It's a quotable quote.
Uh-huh. I do see lots of friends that don't have kids that are like, this isn't bad. Look at how productive I am.
Oh, I hate them.
And I'm
so
like,
much.
really? Because I've had to not burn down my house several times. It's yeah.
They're always posting pictures of them doing puzzles. I'm like,
Oh,
you
God.
just fucking laid a whole
Puzzles.
10,000 piece puzzle out on your floor and it's still there? Like, what the fuck? My toddler threw a speaker and almost a full computer out the bedroom window today.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit's crazy.
What'd you do to deserve that?
I had 4 kids like a fucking schmuck.
There you
It's
go.
like
That
I'm
would
the
do it.
owner of the hotel that like the Rolling Stones is staying at. That's what it feels like every day. I'm like, oh Jesus, what they fucking do? Someone shit on the floor and the TV's out the window.
So, how are you guys feeling ice-wise? Is it still like a thick crust? Has it melted?
I feel broken.
Are you sitting
Is
in
your
a
ice
warm
broken?
puddle?
Gross.
I'm sitting in a wet spot. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
I think that means your ice is broken.
Yeah, there you go.
He may have peed himself, but
Yeah.
something's wet.
Yeah, we're good.
Icebreakers.
Do you want
Okay.
to ask the first one?
Yeah. First question. Tell us. What do you guys do? How did you get into this? I'm not reading from a script.
No.
No,
that's right off the cuff.
natural.
No, you managed not to say period or question mark. So that was great.
Well done.
Ampersands.
Okay, so what do we do? Who are we? Where do we get started? So, well, Toby and I are married, so that there's that.
She's rewriting our vows currently, in case you can't tell.
So we've been married 10 years this year, and
Congratulations.
Not there yet.
9 years ago, I started Cat's Cove writing. That was the name of it because that's my background is in journalism. And then 3 years ago, Toby joined me full time. So we had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And for some reason, we thought it'd be a good idea if he left his full-time job and joined me full time.
Wonderful.
To be clear, it happened a little more dramatically than that. We were driving down to see my mom, who lives down in the States. She's on the Pennsylvania-New York border. And on the drive, which really ended up being Kathy, had just finished. We were commissioned by the town to put on the Perth 200 celebration. So that was one of our contracts.
Whoa.
So the whole Blue Rodeo and all that kind of fun stuff, that ended up being us.
Oh, wow.
When they came to town and everything. So we were driving down, and Kat, understandably, was pretty burnt out. And I enjoyed what I did, but didn't enjoy where I was working at the time. And kind of almost sitcomish, she told me she was thinking about hanging it up and not doing Cat's Cove anymore. And I said, really? Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to quit, and I wanted to join the company.
Oh, jeez.
I'm a better sales guy. So Tuesday, when we got back after the long weekend, I walked in and quit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for
Dope.
Yeah. And gave John, my boss, basically 4 months notice. Told him I'd give him till the end of the year. And so that gave us time to get ourselves together and get ready and leap and have zero stable income. Because that's the dream, right?
How exhilarating. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a stress-free kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, with really a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. And I had just had back surgery that fall. So, you know, we were...
Oh, wow.
Shit. We were really living the life.
Yeah.
So in January 2017, Toby joined me full time. So we've been doing this for just over 3 years. Yeah. And now we have a staff. There's 5 of us all together. So we have 2.5 staff, like 2.5 full time. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now.
So, but what do we do, which we haven't really answered? So it morphed from writing into communications. I mean, what we do technically, why people call us is it could be website, social media, e-commerce, still doing a lot of writing. There's all kinds of work, search engine optimization, stuff like that. But really, we're kind of just small business consultants. I mean, we like to say that we try and provide clarity for you as a business owner in whatever that might be. So that's kind of what we end up doing.
It's kind of like the one half of the business, and the other half is we've done a lot of work with like municipalities and organizations too. And we help them with consulting, like whether it's communications or like a lot of times it's just clarity. They need a strategy.
Right.
And so we do that as well. And we do a deep dive for those kinds of projects, and they'll be on a bigger scale. So we've amped up that kind of work in the past couple of years too. Before Toby joined me, I was just doing, one-offs. And then he's actually changed my mindset quite a bit in terms of knowing that I can do more. So it's been really good in terms of demonstrating that you can not live bigger, but
Yeah, like stretch your what you think you can do, and then you do it, and then you can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
It's all about exercise, right? It's like muscles, right? They don't get bigger if you don't work them out. So that's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So the short version is communications and marketing, and that's the long version that we just gave you.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's like everything except being on the sales floor of a business, right? Like you're kind of doing basically all the back end stuff. Maybe not like inventory and accounting, but it feels like it's all the stuff.
Really a bunch of backdoor men.
We're in the back door.
It's like you're reading our business cards right now. That's those communications. Really just a bunch of backdoor men.
The Doors are your theme song.
Yeah.
So classy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, every day's different, that's for sure.
So you talked a bit about how you help people find clarity in their businesses. Yeah. So I'm wondering how important branding is. I'm guessing very, but do you have any tips for people on defining your brand and sort of defining who your audience is as a business?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the times if somebody says my brand, what do you usually think of when somebody says a brand?
Logo.
Exactly, right? When you think of brand, a lot of people think about logos, right? And the fonts and the colors. But really, a lot of the work that we do when we talk about branding is actually how you want people to think about you, even if you're not in that room, or what do they say about you when you're not in the room? So it's how you make people feel, the messaging that you put out there, and essentially just the message that goes out in terms of how you want to connect with your audience and the tone that goes out with it, rather than it's a look for sure, but it's more of a feeling.
Right. For sure.
I know it's also very important to define who your client is. And I've done a lot of free webinars that don't teach very much. Yours was very helpful, by the way. A lot of them are not.
Thank you.
Okay.
But they do talk a lot about defining your audience and how important it is to know who you're talking to. Do you have any tips for people on that?
Yeah. I mean, so first of all, you're right. Obviously, you have to kind of, you want to be able to define your audience. But I think what a lot of people do is they try and define their audience as somebody that they want to speak to rather than somebody that's already listening to them.
Good point.
One of the things that we often say is, let's say you already have a social media page, you already have an account, and and you're posting not just what you think will get traction, but things that are important to you and things that are relevant to you. The people that listen to you are defining themselves as your audience.
Mm-hmm.
We often try and engineer it rather than just listen and pay attention. So we often try and create the audience that we think, okay, I want to sell to, 42 to 48-year-old women, and so I'm going to create content for them. And really what you're doing, I mean, unless you are organically creating that content already to a 42, 48-year-old woman, what you're really doing, unfortunately, is misrepresenting probably what you're saying. You want to create something that's natural and see who follows you and see who that audience is. And then defining your audience comes down to figuring out who's listening to you.
That's so
Great
smart.
advice. That's inspiring.
It is.
I don't know if it's inspiring.
I've had a breakthrough.
A lot of it comes down to like being your authentic self, and then you're going to connect with the people who want to connect with you as well. And then once you share those values and you can connect on that deeper level rather than surface level, it's building that trust in that relationship. So that's where a lot of it comes down to, rather than like picture your avatar and all that. It's more about like be yourself and what do you want to sell, but also, listen, as Toby said, to who your audience is. And that's going to do a lot more than just hoping you're talking to the right person.
What often happens, whether it's a webinar or whatever, but whenever you go through a define your ideal client, they're asking you to pick who it is. And then when you start creating content for it. So, I mean, in social media, we're so concerned with getting more followers and getting things like that we often create posts around it in order to get more likes, in order to reach more people, in order to get more followers, as though that's important, rather than speaking to the 100 people that frankly give a shit about you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's far deeper and far more important than saying, I have 1,100 people. They follow me because I represented that I could help them with their midlife crisis. Turns out I can't at all.
Mm-hmm.
So you can create your audience however you want it to be. It's whether or not you're going to be able to speak to them properly.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And too many people do it the other way. Too many people build the following and then they've got 3,000 people on their page and they frankly don't know what to say to them once they realize that they're not the people you want to hang out with, right? They're not the people you want to talk to.
I've also heard that the algorithm on Instagram, I don't know if it's the same with Facebook, but that the algorithm on Instagram is like essentially based on authenticity. Like it wants to see real authentic reactions or interactions rather with real people. Is that true?
Yeah, but I mean, yes, absolutely. And the authentic interactions come from posting authentic things though. So what the algorithms really do is they reward organic likes and shares and comments. So they reward actual social interaction.
Right.
So to kind of give you context, a comment has more weight than a like, which makes sense because if I walked by you and gave you a thumbs up versus said hello, those have two different depth of meaning, right? So, and the algorithm treats it very much that way. So they definitely treat interactions and things like that with preference. However, it has more to do with the fact that it's not that they can naturally figure out that you really were being truthful on that post. Right. It's that your naturally truthful post will get more reaction and more comments and more eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
And then they use that data to say, oh, this means something. If this many people are interacting with it at this level, I want to continue to promote it.
Right.
And so that's really how they look at it.
That's so interesting. I hadn't really thought of it.
Yeah.
But like it makes perfect sense.
It's at its heart, right? I mean, once you accept the fact that Facebook and Instagram are data collection, it's really at its heart a social network. It really is. I mean, and that's how it works, and that's what gets rewarded.
Yeah, and I think if you think about how many pages that you've liked in the past and you've never seen their posts, it's because you haven't interacted with them. And Facebook and Instagram are going, well, I don't think you really like them or they mean a lot to you, so I'm not going to waste your real estate of your news feed by putting them in there. I'm going to put stuff in your feed that you're actually interested in. So that's why when you join groups, there's so much conversation happening in there. And you're going to get more engaged posts in there than that they're going to Facebook and Instagram, or not Instagram, but Facebook is putting those groups into your newsfeed for a reason.
Well, and think of it this way. If you were Facebook or Instagram, what would your goal be? Your goal is to make money. Well, how do you make money? You make money when people view and interact with ads. If you can't keep people on the platform, then they won't see the ads.
Oh, totally.
Well, how do I keep you on the platform? I need to show you the stuff that means something to you.
Yeah.
So I need to understand you at a really, frankly, deep level, or as deep as I can, in order to keep you interacting with it. The second it stops providing value to you, you stop interacting with it. So that's what the algorithm is actually designed to do, is to actually show you the things it thinks you might want to see.
That leads us to a pretty big question, actually. Melody, will you take this one?
I was just wondering if you could tell us why it seems like Facebook is reading our minds and our texts and our phone calls. Because how many times do you talk to someone about whatever, like you're talking about camping and then,
or like the special boots with the steel toes come up and you're like, how do they know? I was just talking to my friend about these boots.
Yeah. Or like you happen to be looking at, like you've been looking for new glasses and then all of a sudden your feed is filled with all of these like discount eyeglasses brands. What's up with that?
What's going on? Is it a ghost?
Yes, it's ghost. Yes.
There's two things that happen from it. So you have Facebook Messenger, right? Mm-hmm. So when you click like you agree to our terms of agreement, then that essentially you've given them permission to record any conversations or messages with keywords, and they basically like are looking through your messages and listening to your conversations and identifying those keywords and then putting them into your feed using an advertisement.
Wait. So it's listening.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on the phone with my friend.
You got it.
Talking trash. Facebook can hear me?
So Facebook has the ability to turn your microphone on. It's not on all the time, but it has the ability to turn your microphone on and listen. And it's not a guy or a girl sitting there. It's an algorithm listening for keywords, but it absolutely can start picking up on what you're saying. And that's why the reason it seems like it is because they are. Ugh. Listen, as a private citizen, I get it. It is absolutely the most terrifying thing in the world. As a business owner, it becomes one of the most incredible tools you can ever use because you now get to target people. And that's why they do it. That's how they make their money, through businesses advertising.
And so as someone who has done some Facebook ads for my art and also for the podcast, when you go through and you click like the different interests, that doesn't mean that people have on their Facebook page, like gone through their profile and said, I like drag racing and like, I don't know.
Is that what you like?
Sorry, what kind of art do you do? Just drag racing art?
Yeah, it's mostly drag racing art.
Just drag racing art. Okay.
Fine art.
Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all. Listen, when you post photos, Facebook has an idea as to what's happening and what's in those photos. Facebook can glean whether or not you've got kids or not and approximately how old they are based on photos of your kids that you put up there.
Yeah.
And they can take a peek at the emails and text messages and everything else you've got, start picking up keywords.
And the other thing of how they can track your activity on your phone or on your laptop is you go into the website and they've got their Facebook pixel connected to it. And basically that pixel is spying on you as a user. So a couple weeks ago, I needed a new pair of running shoes. And I was on the Saucony website and I got to it from their Facebook page. And so then it essentially tracked my activity and then it started to advertise with me because it basically saw, oh, Kathy really wants to get new running shoes. And essentially what they did was go hard on me for 2 weeks.
So to give you context, on our Cats Cove website, we have a pixel installed and you can install it and you can set it to track certain events that happen. So for every person that goes on our website and clicks on contact us, I can retarget them with an ad later.
Whoa.
So I actually know who you are based on your Facebook ID. I always say it's like tagging the ear of an animal so you can track it. And that's effectively what it is.
So disturbing.
It's just a little implant behind the ear, you know?
right? But it is disturbing. But isn't it kind of accurate with how you feel?
So it's like, okay, if someone went on my tattoo site and pressed contact me,
Yep.
then like if I made a little ad
Yep.
like, hey, just a tip hand poke tattoos, da 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 da,
Mhm.
it would go straight to their page.
You
Yeah.
can. So one of the things you can do is you can say, I only want to advertise on Facebook feeds of people who have clicked contact me on my website.
Son of a beach ball.
It's wild, right? And I get it.
Yeah, it's great.
And a lot of people are really uncomfortable with it, but it's one of the things that we've made this agreement, right? Where we've traded privacy for convenience in a lot of situations
Mm-hmm.
where we don't read these terms, we don't do these things. I use the examples all the time. We just finished an ad. So today at Cats Cove, Sasha ran a webinar on how to take pictures on your phone. So I ran an ad for the past 5 days. I spent $21 and I reached 14,000 people.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Again, this is why.
That's great pricing. Very competitive.
Absolutely. Right? $1.73 per 1,000 people, I believe, is what it worked out to be, or something like that.
Wow.
So for everybody that went from that ad and ended up on our website or anything that way, I've tagged them effectively. So everybody that then interacted with our Facebook page as well, I can re-advertise and do what's called retargeting to those people. So I can target everybody that's been on our Facebook page in the last 365 days.
It's like magic. It's like black magic.
It's pretty close to magic. Yeah. So to answer your question, why does it feel like they're listening? Because they are. In one form or another. It's no mistake that pair of shoes that Kathy was looking at popped up in her Facebook feed, because Saucony probably had a pixel installed on their website and just retargeted her.
So the question is, Kat, did you buy the Saucony shoes, or did you go with?
You know what? I went with a third party. What was the name of the
I'm shocked.
business? I know it.
I don't know. National
shoe shopping, and then
it was like a mismatch. We got a 7 and a 9. They were both left.
No. But they targeted me too, because they saw my past history and they targeted me, and I was like, wait, these shoes are like $30 less, and I'm going to buy a pair of running shoes that are $30 less. And so then that's what I did.
Instagram's got me so bad. They're always just targeting me with jumpsuits all the fucking time. Just jumpsuit. All the time. They know what's up. They know me.
So Sarah and I started the podcast together, and she used to talk about jumpsuits a lot. And we have a whole reel of her saying jumpsuit.
I've been known to wear a jumpsuit once or twice. Jumpsuit. A mechanic's jumpsuit. Jumpsuit. Work jumpsuit. Jumpsuit. A jumpsuit. I wear jumpsuits a lot.
Sorry. Okay, wearing them's one thing, but you talk about them all the time?
Yeah,
I mean, I wear jeans every day. I don't think you could put a reel together of me saying jeans all the time.
Okay,
jumpsuits are a whole different game.
They're a whole different game. They're so convenient. Jeans are not as convenient.
I mean,
jumpsuits are magic.
Jumpsuits are like a life hack when you put one of those on.
But
to the point where you talk about it all the time?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
All the time. It's all I talk about.
You clearly don't wear jumpsuits, Toby. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know that about you now, Toby.
But now that we've talked about this, watch your Facebook feed.
Exposed. Yeah.
It's going to be all jumpsuits for Toby.
All jumpsuits all day long.
There you go. That's right. Yeah.
I probably have like 13 jumpsuits. So many different kinds.
It's just going to be ads from Sarah to you directly.
Me just being like, jumpsuit, Toby.
Jump into the suit.
Just so you know, Facebook ads are different than you just emailing me with the word jumpsuit over.
Like a poltergeist, like a jumpsuit internet poltergeist.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, so we mentioned a couple of the social media outlets for businesses that are popular. There's Facebook and Instagram. What else is there that businesses can utilize in terms of social media? I hear about TikTok.
It all depends on, we always say this and it's an annoying answer, but it depends on where your audience is hanging out. So that's the one thing we say of where to go to. We can talk about TikTok for probably the next 27 minutes, because Sarah, jumpsuits for you is TikTok for Toby, because he loves TikTok.
TikTok goes a club.
TikTok. TikTok. It is my love right now. TikTok. Can we talk TikTok?
And he actually loves Twitter. Those are his two favorite social media outlets, whereas everybody instantly thinks of Facebook and Instagram when they're thinking of connecting.
Yeah.
It all depends on who you want to reach out to, but Toby's disagreeing with me. What are you going to say?
No, go ahead. I want to see you've heard it 1,000 times. So
I don't listen to him all the time.
I'm surprised that you've gotten it wrong so far. Yeah.
Where you're comfortable hanging out. Is
No.
that
You want to be everywhere. Listen,
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
You don't say it all the time.
at the end of the day,
Disagree.
if you can be everywhere, you want to be everywhere. And here's why. What happens is so if you were on Facebook versus you're on Instagram, and so for each of you, what's the first app you would open in the morning?
For me, it's Instagram. I'm
Messenger?
on Instagram all the time.
That's not that, is it?
Messenger, yeah.
Like ICQ or MSN Messenger, or what are we doing?
Yeah, ICQ
I'm just like
chat.
on ICQ. I guess I never go on Facebook. Instagram for sure.
Yeah.
Frig Facebook. It took me like 6 days to read all my birthday messages. I'm not even done because I hate being on that platform. I feel like an old lady.
Yeah, what a group of miserable people wishing you happy birthday.
Yeah.
But so my point is the same people are on Facebook and Instagram, even though you may not be interacting on Facebook as much as you are on Instagram. You're the same person. However, you interact with it differently.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to be on both, and you want to be on, again, if you can. I understand capacity is an issue for people. You want to be on Twitter. You want to be on TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and as much as people, and we can talk about it, TikTok's for 14-year-olds. There's a reason to be there because when we're interacting on any of those platforms, we have a different mindset. I tell people, believe it or not, you should be on LinkedIn.
What?
Because-
No, shut up.
Yeah.
ICQ.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You should be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn right now is Facebook in its early days.
Never.
It's starting to blow up.
What?
You're starting
linked.
It's been around for like 27 years.
Yeah.
And the algorithm has recently changed.
Yeah.
And they are now changing how people interact with it. So again, depending on who you are and whether or not you want to exist there, they're now about business content. It used to be, let's be honest, it used to be a job board. Right?
Yeah, that's how I think of it.
And that's how a lot of people think of it. Now, if you post something on LinkedIn that's relevant. So the example I always use is if you are a physiotherapist and you post 4 tips for people that spend over an hour commuting each day on how to have better posture, right? For example, you're speaking to the business mindset of those people, or 4 tips for people that sit at a desk, right? You're speaking to the business mindset and you're starting to create traffic and you're starting to create relevance. So where should you be? You should be, yes, Kathy, you should be where you're comfortable.
I'm rolling my eyes right now.
You should be where you're comfortable.
I can hear you, Kathy. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Don't choke on your eyeballs.
Yeah. However, ultimately where you're comfortable is also, you have to be aware how people interact with it that way.
Yeah, I'm rolling my eyes because he's always usually right. Because he said, see, he's a better salesman than I am. But he does say it in a way that, it does make sense. But I think, too, a lot of people think they have to be on all the things, too. So I would, like as Toby said, like it all comes down to your capacity. But it's also thinking about what energy and time do you have as well, and where can you spend it that's going to be valuable versus trying to do all the things half-assed.
Can we talk TikTok?
Can we do like an hour-long session on TikTok now?
I've only seen TikTok one time, and it was Jagmeet Singh, and he was doing that. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So dope. I was like, that guy, I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm going to vote for him.
You know what, though?
Yeah.
He was so smart because I suspect he had to have known that he wasn't really going to win the election just yet, but he's planting the seed with the 14-year-olds who are going to vote in 4 years for Jagmeet Singh.
And he's cute, and he wears that hot pink turban, and it looks so good on him.
Yeah, he's so cool.
Oh, cool. He's on
There you go.
TikTok.
It's so true.
And keep in mind, I mean, like from a practical standpoint, the NDP did not have a war chest. So what's the easiest, cheapest way to reach as many people as you can? You put out enough content on social media until you try and go viral. It's the only thing you ever saw, but you saw it. And you may not have consumed that from him otherwise. And what did he do? He put his message out. He put his platform out really, really clearly in that video, right?
Yeah, it was
True.
so
Am I gonna
dope.
go after?
It was like easy
Am I
peasy.
going to go after Big Pharma? Yup.
Yup.
Right? Like right? It was amazing.
It was amazing. That was who are his like publicity people? They're fucking brilliant. I want to get in bed with those guys.
There you go.
Maybe literally. I haven't seen them. I don't know.
You wear the turban, and there you go. One of the reasons that TikTok is important, despite the fact it feels like it's 14-year-olds right now, is when Facebook started, everyone said it was just for college kids. When Instagram started, it was just for photos, and again, just for young kids. These apps age up.
Right.
By that, I mean your kids get on them and then you get on them. And Facebook now, as you said, who's on Facebook anymore? Well, keep in mind, Facebook back in the early 2000s was the new thing that our parents were going, I can't believe you're on that. That's only for kids. I would never go on that.
I know. Remember when we were cool? When we were on there and we were cool and we weren't just like parents?
Right? Absolutely.
I mean, we're still cool.
Right?
But
Right. No.
Facebook was cool at one point.
Absolutely.
Like the photo album.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's my point. It was cool at some point, and then it aged up. And so with TikTok, as much as you say it's, or I say, right, it's 14-year-olds and it's the rest of it, because that's the stereotype, it's aging up very, very quickly. It's the fastest growing social media app in the world. That's not just kids. That's because us old folks are starting to use it as well. There are lots of hashtag over 30, hashtag over 40 hashtags on there now.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely, right? But it's people starting to use it, which means the 14-year-olds will leave and go do something else. And we don't adapt nearly as quickly. So we will still be on there. So I say to people all the time, get your brand anywhere you're comfortable putting your brand. It's a great opportunity.
I was just wondering if you could quickly explain for the old folks who are listening, what is TikTok? I know what it is, but some people might not.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. TikTok was an app called Musical.ly. It is most commonly understood as a lip syncing music app. Realistically, what it is it's anywhere from 15 seconds to 60-second videos, often with music behind them. So it is quick consumption, quick looping. It is built for those of us with ADHD because it just snaps from one thing to the other.
Yes. I love that.
It's one of those things. One of the memes on TikTok is you wake up in the morning, I'll just check TikTok quickly, and you look around and the sun's gone back down because it just snaps through videos so quick. It's remarkable. So it's video and music. I mean, it's really as simple as that. It's a creator app that way. So it's not photos of family. It's not fashion the way, kind of Instagram is. It's not photos. Mm-hmm. It's a place to express yourself.
So, yeah, it's like music. So you can do dancing or you can do lip syncing, but you can also it's witty and it's funny. But there's also what people are doing now. It's building up a lot more are how-tos. So there's lots of how-to videos. So if it's recipes, if it's eyebrows.
That's a great point. And even in the office, listen, I get the same eye rolls in the office until I explain that I hacked my own TikTok algorithm, because there's lots of people out there that put out information on everything. So I'm interested in everything from drop shipping to social media to all that stuff. Well, you start going through and you start searching that, you like some of those videos, and I no longer have 14-year-olds dancing in my feed, which is a good thing for many reasons. However, it also allowed me to start seeing stuff I want to see. And so I get a lot of reference material from somebody that knows more than I do on TikTok saying, have you checked this out?
Yeah.
And suddenly I've got a new idea. I'm down a rabbit hole and I'm on their YouTube page and away I go. Yeah. So it's really a top of funnel thing for a lot of businesses that way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. I was going to ask, how does someone take their small business and put that on TikTok and make that work for them? But how-to videos could be
can I make a TikTok video that's like those, that thing you do where you videotape, what's that called? A boomerang. Oh my God, I'm 100 years old right now. It's a boomerang, kids.
Have you seen the
But I'm thinking
it's on
have you seen the boomerang on the Facebooks? But I would do a TikTok of like hand poke tattooing
Mm-hmm.
because it's visually interesting.
Oh yeah.
Good, cool music.
Your medium would be perfect for
Hot
that,
for
frankly.
TikTok?
Yeah, no, you would be. I mean, and here's the cool thing is it allows you to. So it's not like you have to pick your song behind it or pick a song at random and put it behind it. You can go through. You can find the trending songs. You can find the trending hashtags.
What?
So you can put that 30-second video
Cool.
to one of the hot songs in the past.
Like to one of the songs I actually hate, but like all the 17-year-olds watching want to see that.
Well, if the 17-year-olds are your market, sure. Or you can put it to a song that you like and attract the clients that you want.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's the one.
Yeah. Very
But-
cool.
But that's the point. Yeah, you can absolutely do that and see. I mean, to give you context, our Cats Cove TikTok has 4 followers, right? I mean, like we don't have followers. And if we post a video, we can get 1,200, 1,300 views on it, no problem.
Oh.
It literally is. So TikTok is the craziest organic reach
Yeah.
that you can get right now. With 4 followers, you can reach 1,200 people. And frankly, you can reach more if you do something and it actually blows up. Like those are us just doing silly stuff that doesn't do anything, right? It's
Shit, I'm a convert, man.
well, now be aware it should come with a disclaimer because you will start consuming it and you will go through the oh no, I just spent 45 minutes. Where did my 45 minutes go?
Right.
It's pretty quick how you can consume it and it
But again,
disappears.
when you first start using it, you're going to be like, oh, the teenagers, because the algorithm until they finally see what your interests are. Whereas if you looked up, let's say tattoo, that would start to better your experience.
And a great example for anyone listening that wants to change the way their algorithm might work on that app is if you don't let a video play to the end, TikTok goes, oh, you weren't interested in that. Got it. You weren't interested in that. So if you put up your
Like
video
Tinder.
and she always brings it back to Tinder. Is that weird?
No, it's awesome. Be careful, Toby.
But if you put up your video and I watch it 4 times because I'm watching what you're doing and you've got my attention, TikTok says, oh man, okay, so it's either the hashtags that she's used or the song or the video and the content itself. And I'm not sure, but I'm going to give him a bunch more of this so we can figure out what he wants. Same goal as Facebook and Instagram. Stay on the platform. Right? Same idea that way.
Wow. Man, computers are so smart.
Yeah.
Way smarter than me.
They are. They are. That's why they will take us over and kill us and fly us in airplanes with cars filled with heroin one day and drop us out.
Yeah, and foie gras. Come on.
Foie gras.
Don't forget the foie gras, guys. I actually ate foie gras right before I came here today. I think everyone should know that.
You're so fancy.
I am
Living the
fucking
life.
fancy.
Did you film it for TikTok?
I didn't film
Next
it.
time.
But I did send a picture to my mom. That's like TikTok.
Did she share it on Facebook?
Oh, so she'll put it on her TikTok?
Put it on. My mom's an avid TikTok user. Brenda, stop dancing on the TikTok.
Okay, we have to take a break. This episode is brought to you by Just the Tip Hand Poke Tattoos. And if you've been listening for a while, you'll know that JTT Tattoos is one of our super besties and one of the show's co-creators, Sarah Wright. Sarah does detailed and whimsical custom hand poke tattoos, specializing in botanicals and super weird shit, which we know you love. And it's done in the comfort of a cozy wood fire warmed private studio in beautiful Perth, Ontario, Canada. Just the Tip welcomes all bodies, meaning everybody is welcome. Unless you're a dick, in which case you're not welcome. Check out their work at Just the Tip Handpoke Tattoos on Instagram or at justthetiphandpoketattoos.com. That's JUSTTHE. Nope, I'm not going to spell that. And you can book online. JustTheTipHandpoketattoos.com. Okay, so you sort of answered this already, but as a small business owner, especially one who's working from home and has 2 small children, it's me.
Yes.
Or 4
Yes.
medium ones.
if we're not in a place yet to contract out to people like you, do you have any tips on how to figure out like what is the most important work to do on social media with the time you have, or like any scheduling tools you'd recommend, anything like that?
Yeah, scheduling tools.
Yeah, that's a good question. Usually what we say, the biggest advice we would give is consistency and showing up. So just staying dedicated to it, even if it's not perfect. Again, I'm looking at Toby and he's saying no. That's what I would say.
I change my mind on this answer 3 times a week. That's why I'm shaking my head. But
one of the scheduling tools you can use is already, let's say you're using Facebook and Instagram, it's already built in. It's called Creator Studio. So you can either download their app and you can schedule your posts ahead of time, or you can actually utilize it. Just you Google Creator Studio, and you can do it both for Facebook and Instagram. So Instagram now you can actually schedule your posts ahead of time. So that's going to save you a ton of time in terms of actually getting your content up.
That is great news. Is
That's
that
groundbreaking-ish?
It's not-ish, but people are just discovering it. Yeah.
Not-ish.
it's their answer when they realized that everyone was using external tools, Hootsuite and the like.
I just
all these
downloaded fucking Hootsuite. Like, I've been using it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what Facebook understood is, wait a minute, if you're using an external tool to do this, again, we've lost a bit of leverage. So we'd rather have you in our platform and doing it that way. So do it with ours. I mean, Facebook launched a whole suite of things where they now have, they basically have a business manager where you can create ads in there and you can do you can run your catalog for your online store and your e-commerce. You can do it all from their tools now. They've really kind of understood that people are starting to monetize the platform at scale, and so they've started really jumping in. So the Creator Studio is a fantastic option.
It's amazing.
For that.
We were using Hootsuite and paying, $600 a year?
By the time the exchange rate, probably about $600.
Yeah, and
Jesus.
And you couldn't do anything. Like, it would be like, oh, you can't schedule carousels for Instagram. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Yes.
And then we looked into Creator Studio, and then...
Which is free.
And you can do carousels?
Yes, you can.
That's
you can do carousels.
Crazy, because I had no idea. I was doing Tailwind for a while for Instagram, and ultimately I didn't continue with it because it was helpful, but it was easier for me just to go straight out of Instagram. But that's pretty great. Good to know.
And in Creator Studio at the top, there's it'll automatically bring you to Facebook, and then there's a little icon at the top of the actual page, and it has the Instagram logo, and you have to click on that to get into your Instagram posts.
But it connects your accounts, and it's
amazing.
It's pretty simple and seamless that way.
You guys know so much.
So Callie was yelling, so I was shaking my head, and I think a great example is when you talk about you were trying Tailwind, and people have tried Hootsuite and other things. And the reason I was shaking my head is because really where you should be posting is where you are willing to actually do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not on Facebook, don't create a Facebook page with the intention of suddenly you're like,
don't be on Facebook all the time if you're never in it.
Yeah, because then it becomes work. And really what you want to do is you want to create a social media presence that it's not hard to maintain. You want to create something where you're comfortable doing it, where it's easy, where you're not creating, but you're documenting.
Right.
And by that I just mean like, what's your day-to-day versus fuck, I got to make something. It's Thursday. I said I'd do something by noon today. I got to put something up. Well, that's when you stop doing it, right? That's when you no longer want to do it.
Yeah.
So my head shaking was not you need to be on Facebook and Instagram, not you need to be here. It's wherever you're spending your time. When I ask the question, and I ask it of clients all the time, where I say, what's the first app you open up in the morning? Whatever that answer is, that should be the first thing you're spending time creating a presence on. Because you like that. You're comfortable there. Do that.
That's good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Good advice in life. Do what you like, right?
I was going to say that. That's just like life advice.
Life advice. And the other thing too, if you're doing this and you don't want to hire somebody, is on Facebook and Instagram, they already give you all the data on insights to tell you the story of how people are consuming your information. And so they have all the numbers. They tell you, what the age group is that's following you, female, male, their location.
Where they are.
Yeah, use that information to essentially help guide you or give you some feedback in terms of, I don't know how I'm doing. Well, here's a tool that can help me actually determine if what I'm posting is effective and connecting with the people that I want to connect with.
It's you may or may not be amazed by the number of requests we get from somebody that says, how do I? And we'll often just send them a link, right? Where it's like, listen, read this and see if you can. And it comes from Facebook itself, where Facebook is like, listen, we explained how to do this. They provide a lot of those tools, a lot of that information.
They really do.
They really do. They're really interested in you spending a lot more time on it than you already are. It's kind of the only way they make money, right? Back to the point we made earlier. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a question. Okay. What's the biggest marketing mistake you see business owners make online? I hope it's nothing I do.
Go, he's already breathing with anger. So you go for it. You answer first.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so the biggest mistake that we see businesses make online is they sell. And by that, I mean they take these free social media channels, these free feeds, where really what we're looking to do is interact and as weird as it sounds, form some kind of connection. And they use them to sell. Mm-hmm. And the reason that people use them to sell is because we've been taught that all media provides you the opportunity to sell. If you think of traditional media, radio, TV, newspaper, magazine, somebody else always produced the content. And when somebody else produced the content, they came to you and they said, and your opportunity to be part of this content is to advertise in it. So that's all we've ever learned how to do. We've never understood that we get to produce content as well. So the biggest mistake people make is they sell in their Instagram feed, they sell in their Facebook feed. And by sell, I mean anytime you ask somebody to do something. So they sell instead of give. You should be giving, providing either a connection or information in 90% of your posts on social media.
Wow.
Because that's how you build a relationship.
Mm-hmm. People don't feel like you're harassing them.
You got it,
right? Once you feel like I'm just there to extract something from you, you no longer want to partake.
Yeah.
And so that stop interacting. It's like anything. Again, it's like anything in life, right? Yeah. So the analogy I use is imagine it this way. If 90% of the posts that you put up on your social are you making a deposit into the bank. So you provide your end user, your reader, your consumer with something. If you make a deposit on 90% of them, when it comes time to make a withdrawal, you have all kinds of equity, you have all kinds of currency with this audience, and far willing to actually buy what you sell.
Truth.
I think the first sell that we made, and this is not to say it worked beautifully, I want to be very clear, but I think the first sell we made was about 18 months in, Kat. Yeah. I mean, and it's not to say it worked great, but that was the strategy. Because if you sell all the time, that's fine. But when you burn me up as a lead, as a sales lead, you have to replace me. Mm-hmm. So you have to keep replacing top of funnel. So you have to keep finding more and more people, right? When people tell me that they don't need social or they don't need to be online because I do all of my business as word of mouth, back to the original question about brand.
Yeah.
I do all of my business as word of mouth. That is nothing more than your brand representing you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And your brand is what keeps me interested. And if you're a brand that's giving me more than it's taking, whenever you ask, I'll always give. Mm-hmm. So that's the biggest mistake. Everyone hops on Facebook, creates a page, and starts telling me about their sale. And I don't fucking care.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right? Like, when was the last time you guys watched a commercial on TV?
Like 13 years ago.
There you go. And you know why? Because we decided we didn't want ads anymore.
Mm-hmm. We just consume ads in a different way now.
Right? It's so, yeah. So when you think about, imagine if they built, so whatever show you're watching on Netflix right now, imagine if every 15 seconds he turned to the camera, she turns to the camera and holds up like a Coke and goes, man, what a refreshing Coca-Cola. You'd be like, oh, fuck off, okay? Like, I'm not interested in you selling me Coke constantly.
Fuck your product placement.
Yeah, right? Because we don't want to be sold to. We don't.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, thank God there's a free network that I can sell to. Well,
yeah.
it burns out your currency and your brand.
And I think if I can like add a secondary element to that mistake is when people are writing or posting video and they're writing like they think they should be because that's how you do sales or that's how you do it from a corporate standpoint. And they're talking like robots or like they're from like the 1920s and they're not actually just using like their regular voice. And so that's a big mistake that it's just, again, it goes back to that authenticity. But talk to me like you're having a cup of coffee or a glass of wine rather than trying to like talk to me at a bank. You know, it's just that element of these are real people and just be real.
Yeah, think about your stilted commercials. Think about your stilted infomercials. Has this ever happened to you? Right? and as much as you might want to address whatever that issue is, you don't lead that conversation with has this ever happened to you? And yet we see copy all the time on Facebook, on Instagram. Has this ever happened to you? Well, I can solve it for you.
Right.
And I never got to how you're going to solve it. I left right away, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not interested.
A lot of what you're saying is like the tenets of good salesmanship, really. Like you develop a rapport with your people, you ask them open-ended questions, you deliver them value. So even when you're actively selling something, you're explaining to them what like the benefits are of that thing, not telling them they need to buy it. Yeah. Providing information. And then that ultimately leads to the sale.
It's building relationship,
Mm-hmm.
building relationships, building trust and building connection because, you know, the original purpose of Facebook was to keep university students connected to one another. It wasn't to sell. And so when you think about that whole why behind Facebook and Instagram, for instance, it's to stay connected. So people don't want to be sold to. They want to feel like somebody understands and is listening to them. And that's what it's all about.
As an aside, when I went to boarding school in Boston, which is near Harvard, which is where Facebook was started, right?
Harvard.
We had a book called The Facebook, and it had pictures of all of the students' faces and their home addresses.
Oh, it's called a stalker book.
Yeah.
Wow.
So tell me again how much we care about privacy. If even back then we had that kind of.
We're like,
Right.
oh my God, you're going to put a picture of me on it? Cool. You can give them any information. My picture's amazing.
Right, exactly.
I'm famous.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck.
Okay. Should we talk about COVID?
I think this is our
everybody loves talking about
like,
COVID, right?
Real business question.
It's not like Candyman, right? Like if you say it 3 times, it doesn't appear. You don't get it. Like that's not how it works.
It is like that. We're fucked already.
You girls are so good.
But no, if you drink a Corona, then it cures COVID.
That's
Drink a Corona and eat a Lysol wipe, and you're all set.
Inject some bleach. You're good.
That sounds like what somebody who wants to travel to Florida would say.
That is my dream when I win the lottery.
I see those beaches in Clearwater. They look amazing. Yeah.
Okay, I have a COVID question.
Okay.
I should say in a spooky voice because COVID's so spooky.
COVID.
Okay. I won't. I'll say it in a normal voice. How is the COVID-19 pandemic forced businesses to change how they interact with their network?
Oh, great question.
So like COVID-19, Instagram, I'm not posting shit anymore because I'm not doing anything and I'm doing other stuff. Is it more like, it's kind of like that? Like, that's not a good idea? What should I do?
No, this is a really good, I guess, lesson, you know, like thanks. What is the name of the superhero that came in?
Captain Hindsight.
Captain Hindsight. There's Captain Hindsight who tells you what you should have done when it was too late.
He sounds like a dick.
Yeah, piece of shit.
When essentially Captain Hindsight would come in and say, this is why you should have built your audience online ahead of
Right.
time.
For those listeners and perhaps our hosts who don't understand, this is a South Park reference.
I didn't even remember where it was from. But anyway, it's essentially that whole element of, you know, Toby talked earlier about, you know, my business is all referral based. Well, that's great when somebody's going to walk into your shop on Main Street and it's consistent traffic. When that shuts down and you lose all that opportunity to connect, it really makes you reevaluate how you're going to do your marketing or if you've done your marketing. So I think that essentially was a good Captain Hindsight lesson. And I think there's been so much innovation that comes from how you're actually going to switch up how you offer your business services. So there is that element to it as well. Like you've seen how businesses have just completely transformed how they offer their services or products in a way that aligns with, you know, the pandemic situation. Mm-hmm. So there's that as well. But it also makes us think a bit differently in terms of actually we can access these products in a different way as a consumer as well. Like when we think about grocery shopping from restaurants, that was something we never would have ever considered. And then we got hit with this and it's shifted our thinking. You know, yeast, who knew yeast would be a product that everyone would want? But the other thing, like Sarah, you were hitting on is you just don't shut down. Just because you shut down physically as a business, this is not a time to go silent. And I think it's that whole, it aligns with consistency, but how do you still connect, not selling, but also, you know, remain consistent and remain out there and stay active is what's going to keep you going throughout this shitstorm.
Right, right.
At the end of the day, in a situation like this, I mean, we all still crave some form of connection, and whether or not we believe face-to-face sitting in the same room is the same as social, it still remains as connection. And so one of the things that businesses have had to do is they've had to start to realize that I can't rely on that. I need to start posting. I need to start communicating. And frankly, if I may, the ones that have been the most successful, back to the point about the biggest marketing mistake, are the ones that started telling a story because they had time and they started documenting, versus the ones that immediately were buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, which I totally understand why you do it in a time like this, because funds are scarce and you're worried and you're concerned and all that stuff. But really the biggest pivot that businesses, and I hate the word pivot right now.
Pivot.
But the word, the biggest pivot that they've had to make has been start communicating and over communicating. Because you don't have any other avenue except for marketing and communication, digital marketing communication right now. There's no way to get in front of people consistently with no money spent except for that right now.
And a really good example of how one business pivoted is there's a butcher shop in Smiths Falls, Ontario. And in 2 days, they transformed their business model to go completely online, right? Because they couldn't obviously welcome people in the way that they wanted to. And they told their story throughout it. And they outlined the ups and the downs with it. They honored their 4-year anniversary that happened, I think, last week. They still told their story throughout it. They still sold, but they did it in a way that demonstrated their commitment to serving their customer. And they did it in a way that made it easy for you to access their product. And so like this week, Toby and I went and bought a freezer pack because as consumers, like we wanted to buy from them because we valued what they were doing. And it really aligned with what we thought was important as consumers. So
cool.
It was neat to
what's the butcher shop name?
Valley Custom Cutting in Smiths Falls. So Angie and Dan Hoysted in Smiths Falls.
Thank you. I'm going to check them out on social media.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
You're going to peep their social?
I'm going to peep their social. Oh, God. Their gram. I'm going to fucking peep their gram.
Do you guys have anything else you wanted to say or cover before we move along?
I don't think so.
Okay, then we have one last real quick question for you.
Real important, real quick.
Real important. What are you guys listening to lately? Podcasts? Music? Audiobook? What's up? What's in your ears?
Justin Bieber.
Oh, the Biebs.
Okay, you know what, actually? So I say the Biebs because our kids love the Biebs. Or
JB, as he's known in our house.
Yes, so if you want to be cool, call him JB.
Okay.
But today, I was driving with the kids, and I pressed the CBC button on the car, and my son, who is 7 years old, said, "Oh, I just want to listen to this." What? And that made me so happy. Not even the fact that it's CBC, it's just the fact that it's not JB.
Yeah,
so
that's nice.
That's what I listened to today.
Yeah, CBC. I listen to CBC today too, and I never do.
Yeah,
lately. I mean, I used to always, but now that I am at home, I don't drive.
I just switched from talk radio to podcasts. So
yeah,
I don't listen to it much anymore.
I am a podcast advocate for sure.
Toby, what's your podcast you're listening to right now?
The one I'm in the middle of right now it's called Against the Rules by Michael Lewis. It's published by Pushkin Industries. So Michael Lewis is the one that wrote, he's written a handful of books, but he's most famously known for the Game of Shadows book, the book that kind of was is the Balco steroid scandal. So the one that brought down all the baseball players. That was his book that he wrote it. And so he's working with Malcolm Gladwell from Toronto and producing a podcast called Against the Rules. So it's about the rule makers in society and how we perceive them. I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. I listen to a lot of sports podcasts, basically anything that The Ringer puts out. I've got Tim Ferriss in my playlist. I do audiobooks. Like I'm literally, I have earbuds in. I have 2 sets of earbuds so I can change them when one battery dies.
Hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, I'm listening to a book called Sapiens right now, which is just the history of people.
Cool.
I just finished the Dark Tower series through Audible, which was great.
That's awesome.
And as a family, we've been listening to John Prine all the time.
Oh my God, all the time. John Prine. Are you kidding me?
Oh, you'll see a post. I'm not sure if it's on our Facebook or Instagram. I know we have it scheduled for this weekend because I screenshotted it so I, obviously when he passed, I kind of jumped back into him. Same as I did, frankly, with Bill Withers, unfortunately, when Bill Withers passed.
We all just fucking died inside a little bit.
Absolutely. So Prine passed and I said, okay, well, I'm going to expose the family to John Prine. And so back to that point, the kids are now asking for John Prine songs where I'll be like, you guys want some music? And they'll be like, can we listen to Clay Pigeons? Can we listen to That's the Way the World Goes Around? Can we listen to, and so the kids are now dictating that they want to hear John Prine, which I assume is a success as a parent at this point, because I think it's
deeply
amazing.
successful.
Absolutely.
You nailed it.
What's your favorite song by John Prine? Can you pick one?
He didn't write it, but Clay Pigeons is my favorite song.
I'm tired of running around looking for answers to questions that I already know. I could build me a castle with memories just to have somewhere to go. Count the days and the nights that it takes to get back in the saddle again. Feed the pigeons some clay, turn the night into day, and start talking again.
Are you familiar with the Tree of Forgiveness album, his last album before he passed?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank God. Okay, one more question that's John Prine related. Have you ever heard of Dan Reeder?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, write it down. I'm looking it up right now so I know how to spell it. Dan.
I was going to say Reeder, like R-E-E-D?
R-E-E-D-E-R.
Okay.
He played with John Prine all the time. They were like best pals.
Okay.
Dan's still alive, but barely. Like if you like John Prine and you care about his friends, then you're gonna put on fucking Dan Reeder.
And you're not an animal. Yeah.
And you're not an animal peasant.
Yeah.
Dan Reeder's your new John Prine. No, that's hurtful to John. You're gonna love him. I'm so excited.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's funny. He's ironic.
Yeah.
He's just really honest.
Yeah.
And it makes you cry. Like, it's a song that has funny lyrics that only has like 12 lyrics and you're like crying.
Yes.
But it's funny. Like, I don't know. It just gets you.
Kathy admittedly doesn't pay attention to the lyrics, whereas I will play a song back where I'll be like, listen. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, you're not listening to the words.
I can't hear that.
Well, it's probably better, Kathy, because it sometimes feels like someone just punched you in the gut and like left.
You know,
and you're like, what? I'm just in the parking lot.
That's cool. That's good to check
I was gonna say I love the Tree of Forgiveness album, and obviously right when I get to heaven, right? I mean,
are you kidding me right now?
Well, this is what I mean, right? Like, I mean, right after he passes away, and he's got this song called "When I Get to Heaven," and it's explaining everything he's doing right now. I think it's amazing.
'Cause then I'm going to get a cocktail, vodka and ginger ale. Yeah, I'm going to smoke a cigarette that's 9 miles long. I'm going to kiss that pretty girl on the tilt-a-whirl. Yeah, this old man is going to town.
Yeah, he's smoking a cigarette that's 5 miles long right now.
You got it. Absolutely. You got it. Yeah.
You got it, John.
I'm with you. Yeah, so John Prine gets played a lot in our house. And the other band that I've recently discovered is called the Mountain Goats.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not a band. It's just one guy out of California and whoever he ropes in to play with him. But I love him too because I think he's a great songwriter.
What's he written? Is he the what's he written? What are some more popular songs?
So if you kind of ran through his Spotify kind of top 5, there's This Year. Oh, there's one called No Children, which I absolutely howl at. So one of the themes he has that runs through all of his music is the story of this couple that can't get along. They're just constantly fighting. And
Toby makes me listen to it all the time.
Yeah. So it's called No Children, and effectively it starts with, I hope one day that the people who are trying to save us will fuck off and leave us alone.
I hope that our few remaining friends give up on trying to save us. I hope we come up with a fail-safe plot to piss off the dumb few that forgave us. I hope the
The Wolves, the best ever death metal band. Those are some of the most popular songs anyway that get the most plays on Spotify.
It's the death metal one that I've heard.
Is it?
Yeah.
When we go with COVID, like Toby's an extrovert, but I'm an introvert. So by the time the day is done, I have nothing left in me to consume anything. So I started to go back to books again because to listen to anything else, I just want silence. So I am not consuming podcasts, hardly music, and then just go and I'm trying to just read because that's the way that I can consume.
Yeah.
In a way that kind of makes me chill after.
Whereas I have
Totally.
I have 3 Bluetooth speakers on the go and 2 sets of Bluetooth headphones.
It's
so
loud all
I
the time.
constantly have something going.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we're consuming right now.
Nice. Do you guys have anything you would like to promote?
Yeah, you do.
You know what? We go by the idea that if you want to follow us on social, that's great. But our whole concept is we just want to give away content for free and hopefully it helps. So that's what we're promoting.
Yeah, find us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Beyond that, we've got nothing to sell. Our whole thing, especially during the COVID situation, has been we actually started kind of tripling down on the content we were producing, kind of recognizing that businesses needed help. So follow us there, and we are very much of the mindset that if we can help you there, then sometime in the next 15 years, that will lead to something that we didn't have to promote today.
Yeah, you guys have been offering free webinars and all kinds of great, helpful content through your Instagram, which is where I see you the most.
So to that end, if somebody missed a webinar, find us on YouTube as well, and all of them are uploaded there.
Yeah.
So you can find them.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
That was our philosophy, I guess, or our approach with COVID was just trying to help people who are in a shitty situation.
Well, it was an opportunity to live out what we preach.
Right.
So back to we made at some point about 90% of what we should be posting should be helping or connecting.
Yeah.
Well, all we did was increase the volume and tried to keep it that 90%. That's all. So it's
nice.
So it's easy. I mean, follow us there. You'll get a real sense. If anyone out there doesn't know who we are, and there are many of you that don't, then that's the best place to get a sense as to who we are.
It's Cat's Cove Communications.
You got it.
You can find the show at teachmetigerpodcast.ca. Also, if you're listening and you like the show, please leave us a review. It does really help the show. And if you have literally $2 a month to spare, consider going to patreon.com/teachmetigerpodcast to support us. And that $2 a month gains you access to all of our bonus episodes.
Nudies.
Can we do one more plug?
Yeah.
It's a plug for you. When you guys launched, we loved the fact, because we're both local to this area, and we were like, a podcast in our area. That's incredible. So it's awesome what you're doing, and you're posting consistent content. And you're just doing such a good job with like just being yourselves. And it's just awesome that you're putting it out there.
Thank you so much.
So where am I finding the podcast? I mean, people that are listening obviously already know, but where am I finding it?
Yeah, so you can go to the website, teachmetigerpodcast.ca, and all of the episodes are there, but it's also on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and TuneIn and like all those places, all the big ones.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kat and Toby.
Thank you.
James, for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah.
And thanks, Sarah, for coming back on today. We missed ya.
Huzzah.
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 Did she just Sorry, does Sarah just drop in whenever she feels like it?
Pretty
Yes.
much. I have like a rotating roster now of co-hosts because it's too much for anyone but me to do it every week.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you so much to everybody for listening.
Thanks, guys and gals, and everyone.
Thanks, peoples and tigers.
Yeah.
And remember,
It's a jungle out there. Wow, that was
Ooh,
really
good.
good. Ever spicy. Teach me, tiger, how to tease you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Tiger, tiger, I wanna squeeze you. Whoa, 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 whoa. All of my love I will give to you, but teach me this tiger, or I'll teach you.